I am not one of those people who can sit down in front of a camera and talk and talk and just say everything perfect. Get one shot in and done, uploaded. I'm discrediting myself right now, oh my God. That's not me. So macros, how to count them. Okay, so I am no expert, so take this with a grain of salt. I wanted to do some research before I talked about this next subject, just because I wanted to make sure that I was giving somewhat of accurate information. So, if you do not know this, every 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. Every 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. Every 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. Naturally, when you're bulking, you want to eat more calories. The easiest way to do that is to add carbohydrates, extra carbohydrates to your diet. So for me, I think I did like 50 to 60% of my diet was carbohydrates alone. So towards the end, I was eating about 400 grams of carbs, and that is 1,600 calories. I cannot believe I just had to use my calculator for that, but please do not judge me. 1,600 calories straight up just from carbs. The other like rule of thumb, so to speak, like the easy way to kind of determine it is that 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of your own body weight, you kind of want to get that in with protein. So naturally I would want to do about 125 just to be on the safe side. But since I was bulking, we added a couple extra calories of protein. So I was doing like 130 protein, and that was 520 calories from protein alone. So if you add that to the 1,600, do not judge me again, 2,120 calories from protein and carbs alone. So I did a bit of a higher fat intake. I did about 20 to 25% of my overall intake. That was about 60 to 65 grams of fat on any given day. So that was for bulking. Of course, you want to add extra volume when you're bulking. You want to make sure that you're getting that protein in. That's the number 1 priority in muscle building, muscle maintaining. You don't want to just like overload on carbohydrates and have 0 fat, and you don't want to overload on fat and have 0 carbs, because your energy levels and your hormone levels are going to go like crazy. If you're not trying to bulk, maybe let's say you're trying to cut, the first thing that's gonna go typically is carbohydrates. For me, we dropped it from like 50 to 60% to 30-40%, I wanna say. I went from 400 grams of carbs to about 200 to 230 grams of carbs a day. Let's say that you don't want to bulk and you also don't want to cut, you just want to live life and go to the gym and maintain whatever you have. So you want to figure out what your calorie range is to maintain. You want to figure out what your macro split is to maintain. Keep in mind, everybody's different. Okay, every body is going to react differently to whatever kind of diet that you're doing, or I don't even like to call it a diet, but however you're eating, whatever macro split you're on. So I would say to keep the protein high, try to get 0.8 to 1 gram per body weight. As far as fat goes, I believe you're not supposed to go below 15 to 20% of fat, because then your hormones, again, will go crazy. Your body will go crazy. And by crazy, I mean, in my experience, I dealt with headaches and mood swings and loss of reproductive function, and I ended up having these binge cycles where I would just eat everything in sight and then like want to throw it, like feel physically like I was going to throw up. I didn't want to, but so do not go below 15 to 20% of fat, and then from there you can play around with the carbs. Let's say you have a protein shake. It's got 30 grams of protein, 2 grams of fat. Okay? 30 times 4, that's 120 calories worth of protein, and let's say 2 times 9, 18 calories worth of fat, 138 calories. That is how macros make up calories. You do not have to count them yourselves. You do not have to pull out a calculator and do that every time. Just use MyFitnessPal, use the Lose It app, use whatever app you like that tracks it for you automatically. So if you go to profile and you go to goals, right there. Calorie and macronutrient goals. And I have it preset, right? So 1750 calories, and I've got 50% carbohydrates. That's higher than I thought it was. 30% protein and 20% fat. So this is kind of accurate to what my coach told me to go on. I couldn't get it to be perfect, but he wanted me on about 230 grams carbohydrates, 135 protein, and about 35 fat. So it's about a 5 to 10 gram difference here, and that's completely fine. I can just use this as a general like basis and then like plan out my meals based on how my coach wants me to do it. And if you, let's say, okay, so if you click on carbohydrates, it automatically gives you like different ranges that you can change it to. So I could change it to 70% if I wanted to, but we're not gonna do that. And once you add it all up, at the bottom it says 100%, so that's 100% of your daily intake. If you mess with it, then you need to keep adjusting until you get it. Okay? I'm at 105%. Oh God, 0% fat, what have I done? So, I hope this makes sense somewhat. It is kind of a confusing topic in the beginning. When I started, I had no idea what a macro was, and I just thought I have to eat a lot of protein. And when I was losing weight, I had to cut my calories. That's all I thought. So I did not pay attention to my fat intake. I did not pay attention to any of that. I didn't even pay attention to the food I was putting into my body. I just counted the calorie intake. And to me, that is not sustainable and it is not healthy. You wanna make sure that you're healthy all around. You wanna make sure you're getting your veggies in, your fruits, your proteins, your good fats, all that. So I'm not the best at I'm not the best at explaining things. I feel like I get really like winded when I try to explain things, but like I said, no expert. This is just what I've been told and what I've learned and things that I have known to work for me. Every person is different, every person's goal is different, and every person's body is going to react differently to a different macro split. I know people who low carb really, really works for them. They feel like their water retention has gone way down. For me, a low carb would make me, excuse my language, but bitchy. So play around with it. If this was helpful at all, thank you for sticking around and watching. I like to kind of mix it up between like vlogging and sitting down and talking to the camera, just because, I don't know, just depends on my mood. I'm not the type of person who's gonna pick up the camera every day and film my life and vlog. I forget, to be honest, and knowing me, I will drop my camera multiple times. So that's not me. I'm trying my best to kind of just mix it up. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye. Anyways, but I'm really liking this lighting. This might be like a thing.